video showing different types of musical instruments that the Native American people used across the Americas. So the next logical step would be to talk to you a little bit about the kinds of dances they did. Now, the Indians loved to dance. They danced for many, many reasons. Their dance was often a prayer to the god of corn, rain, sun, or almost anything in nature. To heal the sick, the medicine man usually did most of the dancing. Indians also danced when someone died, or for a wedding, or before a hunting trip, or just to entertain one another, like we might today. A dance was always a big occasion, and dancers wore fancy costumes and masks and headdresses, and some dances lasted for many, many days. Indians always danced to the beat of the tom-tom drum. We talked a bit about that. And the drummer was very important. He was both orchestra and conductor, beating out a steady rhythm while he watched the dancers' feet. The drummer controlled the dance. If he wanted dancers to change time and steps, he signaled to them. How did he do that? Well, by the rhythm of the drum. Sometimes two or more drummers beat in time together. And they often sang too, or made noises with rattles, whistles, bells, and other objects. Now I want to cut away here just for a moment and show you a brief film that I believe was made in 1914, shot by Edison Studios, and it is supposedly the very first film made of Native American people dancing, moving film that is. So let's take a look at that and then we'll talk some more. It's very unique to see and to know that those were real Native American people, and they were doing the dance the way they had been done likely for centuries. You know, some of the dances, and I believe the one we just looked at was called the buffalo dance. We're going to look at a few of the dances here. And the buffalo dance was done before hunting buffalo, of course. The American Indians prayed to the Great Spirit, Gitchiminitu, for good hunting by doing their buffalo dance. Now, they never killed an animal without good cause, and the buffalo meant food, clothing, shelter, and ornaments to the Indians. They depended on the buffalo for so many things, and they used every single aspect of the dead animal. Each dancer wore a complete costume of buffalo hide and tail, and usually a shaggy mask of buffalo scalp and horns. And the dancers imitated the action of the buffalo being stampeded. Now, there was another dance called the deer dance, and almost every Indian tribe had a deer hunting dance, usually held in the autumn to make the first deer of the season safe for eating. Each deer killed meant clothing, food prepared in many and tasty ways, sinew with which was made thread or string to sew and to string beads on, and ornaments from the hoofs and horns of the dead deer. The dancer was dressed in the skin of the deer, complete with the horns and split deer hoof rattles on his legs. And then there was the horse dance. Now, this dance was done to show respect to the horse, so important to the Indians, and the dancers pranced around the pasture, swishing the horse tail attached to their bodies. This obviously came about after, I believe, the first Europeans came here, because I don't think the Indians native had horses originally. They used their own feet on the trails. They used, as we looked at a short time ago, dugout canoes. They used birch bark canoes, and I think horses were something that came in later. But I'm not an expert on that area, so fact check me, okay? And then there was the snake dance. The Hopi snake dance was a prayer for rain in August so the crops would indeed be good. Before the 9-day ceremony began, the snake priests gathered all kinds of snakes from the desert, even the deadly rattlesnakes. And on the last day of the ceremony, the priests bathed the snakes, put them in a big hole, covered it with a board, then built a teepee over it from cottonwood branches. 2 snake priests each took out a snake, put it in his mouth, and danced with it, and then dropped it inside a circle made of sacred meal, repeating this until they had danced with every single snake that they had caught. Ay, ay, ay. One special priest kept the snakes inside the circle with a feathered whip, and when the dance was over, the snakes were returned to the desert so that they could carry the prayers to the rain gods. I don't like snakes, and dancing with one in my mouth does not seem very appealing to me. Now, there also was the Chippewa Serpentine dance. This dance was like follow the leader in a sense the children play today. The dancers wove in and out or around a large circle, doing whatever the leader did. When the drummer changed the beat, dancers changed their steps to fit the music. Then there was the feather dance. When Indian tribes were placed on reservations, the feather dance ceased to be a war dance and became a contest of beautiful costumes and the dancers' ability to keep in rhythm with the drummers and the singers. You might see something like this at a modern powwow. In fact, I have. Costumes were decorated with colorful feathers and dazzling feathered streamers that touched the ground, and fancy beadwork and sleigh bell ornaments were placed on various parts of the Native American's body. Devil dance. This dance represented a struggle between good and bad spirits. A classic battle. Always the good spirits won, and I wish it would be so today. They began with a happy warrior dancing about, and then appeared the fierce-looking devil, painted white and wearing a black mask over his head, and making strange noises as he waved his horsehair wand. And the medicine man was not strong enough to drive the evil spirit away from the warrior, who finally fell under the devil's evil power. But before the dance was over, the medicine man returned with powerful medicine to bring the warrior under the influence of the good spirit and defeat the evil spirit. And then a popular dance was the hoop dance, and this was started among the southwestern Indians, and it was usually a one-person dance that required much practice. Boys learned this dance soon after they learned to walk. And I think I can liken it to in our culture, well, not the culture today, but when I grew up, were the hula hoops that were all the rage. The dance for the Indians had a much deeper meaning, though, than twisting a hula hoop around with your hips. A tough piece of wood or a thin sapling of maple, ash, elm, or birch was bent to make. The dancer would lay on one or more hoops and on the ground and very rapidly dance in and out and around them, and he would pick them up. He would pick up one with his feet, put it over his head, work it around his arms, or step through it. And sometimes he picked up another hoop in the same way and kept both moving at once. Some dancers handled as many as 5 hoops at a time. This is a very popular dance in the Indian ceremonies still today. And last let's talk about the eagle dance. Men dressed as eagles imitated the graceful movements and the actions of these great, magnificent birds, and the dance often began with the early struggles of the eaglet. As the baby bird gained strength, his wings stretched to their full length. As he became a strong and mighty adult eagle, the dancer went into his vivid dance of swooping and dipping in his wings in the sky. Besides these, there were many other dances which the Indians did, such as the butterfly or the hummingbird and the crow dances. Many of these are still done by Indian tribes today, and you may have seen some of them, as I've said, or can see some of them at Indian powwows. The Native American culture is a fascinating culture, and they had so many incredible attributes that it's interesting to take a look at, even if it's just a brief look like this, to give us just kind of a not detailed, but an overview of what their life with the dance was, or their life with the music, or the life with the dugout. And we'll look at more things in future videos. I want to thank you for being here with me tonight, and I just want you to know, everybody on the other side of that monitor, I love you very much. It's always a pleasure and my honor to be welcomed into your home as you watch this. God bless you all richly, and I will see you soon, God willing. Have a great night.